Hi there, Coni Meyers here, and I just happened to be in one of my very favorite restaurants, and I invited one of my very favorite people to come and join me. This is Stacey Krolak, and she is the Regional Vice President for Women's Council for Region 4, which she was here doing a presentation today, which was fabulous, I might add.
Thank you, Connie.
I was able to go to Arizona, and I got to meet Stacey there because I'd done a couple of workshops on leadership there. And I gave her one of my books, and I have to tell you, I'm really glad I did, because she started talking about Crystalline Moments, and I was thrilled. I was thrilled. Anyway, I cannot wait. This is a very fascinating woman, and I cannot wait to tell her story to you, because she's done a lot of really wonderful things in her life and been a leader all of her life. So that's the first question I'm going to ask you, Stacey.
Okay.
Were you a leader as a child?
I was a leader as a child, but I have to say that I was a shy leader, and I've blossomed.
Okay.
It was underlined for a few years until I had an opportunity to grow.
to grow and let it shine,
Let
right?
it shine, that's right.
Well, tell us a little bit what your journey's been like from how you got to be a realtor,
Okay.
and how you got involved with Women's Council.
Okay. How I became a realtor is my husband and I had always owned our own businesses. We were always self-employed entrepreneurs, and he was a general contractor, and we would design homes and sell them, and we always had agents. And one year when I'm setting my goals for myself, I said, you know what, I think I might want to be the realtor. I want to be that piece of the equation. So I went to school, fell in love with it. After I finished all my classes, I signed up at a brokerage, and I was an agent, and I've loved it ever since. I've never looked back.
Wow. Well, I happen to know you had a very successful business prior to that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. So actually, the first business that I got involved with was Subway restaurants. And I was 19, actually, when we opened up our first restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona. We went on to open 11 restaurants in 11 years, and we absolutely loved it. Then we sold all of them, and we went on to own other businesses, Chevron gas stations, cabinet businesses, restaurants and bars. So that's what I've done all my life.
So, like, true entrepreneur all the way through and through.
That's all I know.
So some of the leadership skills that you've developed over the years, when you had your other businesses, you had lots of employees, obviously, as a Subway restaurant owner. What are some tools and tips you can give to people when they have employees, and as a leader, how do you get them to buy in, and how do you get them to see the same vision that you have for the business?
I would say yes. You know, for example, Subway restaurants. When we had 11 restaurants, we had over 130 employees, okay? So you have different levels of management and sub-management, and then your front line and whatnot. So I've always been the best communicator when I speak to someone personally, and I find out what their needs are and what I could give them to make what I want, okay? And so I think that's the art of true leadership, is figuring out what the opponent needs or wants, and then it actually gives you what you want, okay? And so it's a win-win for both sides, okay? And it's always working it and talking it out, but I feel that when I speak to people and they see my passion, they see my heart, and they see how I believe in something, then that's when they buy in.
Yeah, John Maxwell talks a lot about how you have to offer a heart before you ask for a hand, and I think it's absolutely true. You get so much further when you are when you get personal with somebody and you find out what they're all about, and then they see that you care. So then when there's conflict, you kind of come at it from a different angle.
Yes.
Do you have a piece of advice for when there is conflict that you could offer?
To not say anything right away, to step back, kind of analyze all the information, and then come up with the best solution probably for the organization and not for yourself. I always try to think in terms outside, whether you're with Women's Council or where you're with your HOA locally. Think what's best for that group, and then usually that will solve the problems. Try not to make it personal.
Yeah. That's great advice. Great advice. So you became a realtor, and did you jump right into Women's Council, or how did that happen?
I did. Within 2 weeks of being a realtor, I joined Women's Council, and I had no idea what Women's Council was about, but somebody in the office said that I must join, and they were successful realtors, so I said, okay, this is what everyone else is doing, I might as well figure out what it is. And so over time, I got to really find out what Women's Council was about and do some research, and I absolutely fell in love with the organization. I love what they stand for, I love what they do, and they're such an important part of our industry.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I've been a member now for 26 years, and it's really been interesting to watch the changes and the growth that Women's Council has had over the years. And these last few years have been pretty dramatic in the changes.
Absolutely.
Stacey was state president last year of Arizona, and this year she's regional vice president. So, do you have ambitions to go further in the national organization?
I do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm sure you'll do very well at it, no matter what.
Thank you.
So you have a real estate team.
I do.
Tell us a little bit about how that works.
Okay, so my daughter is my team member, okay, and we're a mother-daughter team, and I absolutely love it. I mean, I love working with my daughter, and you know what? It's great because she's 24, so she brings in that younger perspective, the millennial sector of our sales, a lot of the tech she's really good at, and then I'm more of the wisdom and the whys and that type of thing. But we both work on organizational skills, and it's great because we really analyze every client that we have, and we decide who's going to be the best one to deal with them, and then the other one takes the back seat. And we've just really enjoyed it, and we've really learned to just do better working together. We can accomplish more.
Oh, I love that, the fact that, because in my leadership training I talk about you need to have an avatar for your client, so that you know how to approach that client. So having the millennials and having your daughter there as a millennial, that's huge.
Yeah.
And now they're finally buying houses, so that's even better.
Yes, I'm very happy that they're finally buying houses.
So having your own team, and there's a lot of statistics out there that now show, and you pointed them out at your presentation today, that the national average is 65% of realtors are women. And I forget the statistic you showed, but I think it was like 15% were broker owners or something like that. California Association of Realtors actually did a study 2 years ago that shows in California it was 68% and 16%. So those numbers obviously are right on.
Okay.
And what do you think the reason is that the percentages don't quite jive?
Well, I really believe in my heart that it comes down to one simple item, and that's confidence. We as women are not confident enough. And so I'm really passionate about expressing to women to be confident, to take that chance. The only time we really grow is when we feel uncomfortable, but what do we have to lose? Just take that chance. And I know that men, a lot of times, when they're asked to do a position, they just raise their hand and they go do it. And then when they get there, they figure out how to do it.
How to do it,
right.
Exactly.
And us women, we always self-doubt. We always ask, I don't know if I'm confident enough. I better ask my girlfriend. I bet, And so I'm really asking for women to take that challenge and be confident and take that chance. And I bet you they'll be pleasantly surprised with what they find out.
Is that how #LadyBoss got started?
It is. It is.
So tell us about #LadyBoss.
Well, #LadyBoss came about. National had asked me to speak about a mother-daughter team, and I had my mother-daughter teams identified throughout the country, and we got closer to Washington, and one by one they fell off because somebody had an appointment up at NAR, or somebody had a conflict, or they weren't making their flight, and I was down to one mother-daughter team, and I had stuck the Lady Boss memento in there, and so then I said, you know what, I better change this over. I'm going to flip it to be a lady boss. And then a mother-daughter team speaking about it. So that's how it happened. And when I spoke about it, the response was great. I mean, ladies came up to me from all over the country and asked me to come speak. So I figured, you know what? Maybe we're onto something here. Maybe women need this little nudge. They need this nudge, and they need a push, and then they need the confidence to go out and do these objectives that I know that they are totally capable of.
Oh yeah, the ones you pointed out today were just phenomenal, and I think you're right. I think confidence is one of the major things that hold us back. Even though we might be really great at what we're doing, we just don't think we're quite good enough to take that next step. And so many times women wait to be asked rather
Yes.
than taking the bull by the horns and just doing it.
Stepping up to it, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I'm going to start adding hashtag Lady Boss to all of my hashtags.
Okay. Let's all join the movement.
So you spoke and you mentioned Crystalline Moments several times
Yes.
today. She read the book twice, she tells me. What was it about the book that was impactful for you?
What was so impactful for me for Crystalline Moments is that I believe, I know with myself and other women, I don't think we realize these moments sometimes in our life and how pivotal they are. And so it touched me to realize when these moments do happen, to act upon them and to go forward and let that be the change in your life. And it can just take you to places you never thought you could go. And so, I mean, it touched me, and that's why I had to go back and read it again and really let it soak in. And I highlighted things, and I go back and I look at it. So thank you so much for writing that book, because it really touched my life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, crystalline means sparkly or clear, so crystalline moments are moments of clarity. And there's always a gift. There's always an opportunity. I don't care how devastating the crystalline moment is. It can be something absolutely incredibly wonderful. But for me, the crystalline moment that made me write the book was my husband passing, and taking a look at my life. So if you have moments like that, just know that they guide you. They guide you into the life you're supposed to be living. And I really loved the way you pointed that out today. You know, we're talking to these different realtors on the panel, and you're asking them about their crystalline moment that helped to move them forward. And they all had a great story to share.
They did.
That was really wonderful. I owe you 2 glasses of wine.
Thank you.
So, anyway, any parting words of wisdom if somebody has decided they want to open up their own team organization?
I would highly recommend it. I think it will take you to your next level. And I would say don't hire yourself. Hire what you're not good at or what you don't like. That's what makes the good marriage in my eyes. Hire someone that's different, because they're going to bring in different good components to your business, and then you'll be more of a whole team.
I love it. I love it. Well, Stacey, thank you so much. It's just been a pleasure getting to know you these last couple of years.
The pleasure's all mine.
And check her out, friend her. She's full of great information and just a great person to get to know. So, okay, so that's the, I'm going to close this out by saying thanks again, and I hope you're having incredible crystalline moments and a little bit of hashtag Lady Boss to go along with it.
Thank you, Connie.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.